Did you know that millions of people fall victim to job scams every year, losing thousands and thousands of dollars in the process? Picture this. You apply for that dream job that has everything that you've been looking for, and only to find out at the end of that application process that it was a scam. Well, unfortunately, you're not alone. There's so many people that go through this process every single year. Top of the morning, everyone. My name is Tshidi, and I'm back with a brand new video. Today, we're diving into the topic that is very close to home for many job seekers, and that's job scams. Whether you're actually fresh out of university or you're looking for a career switch and you're looking for better opportunities, job scams are always around the corner. And the scammers, to be honest, are getting a lot smarter than they've ever been before. But don't worry, by the end of this video, hopefully you'll be equipped enough to actually have the knowledge to spot when these scams do happen from a mile away and steer away from this. Job scams are actually more prevalent than you ever think. Just because you haven't been scammed yet doesn't mean that they don't exist. It's also been reported that on average, a lot of people lose up to 1,200, which is about 24,000 rands or 1,000 euros for each person that actually gets scammed by these guys. And scammers know that job seekers are normally vulnerable. They are the most vulnerable of the people out there, especially when desperation kicks in. If you've been looking for a job for a long time, they prey on the need for financial stability, and they prey on you actually just looking at that opportunity to actually exploit some of your dreams that you might have had for that perfect job. You are a recent graduate. You're eager to actually start your career, and you receive a job offer from a so-called top tier company. Now, that job offer, you found it through so many different means, either through a newspaper or through an email, where there was a job alert that came into your email, and it's got the most attractive salary you can ever look at. It's got a work from home benefits. You get excited, you fill out all the forms that they've actually sent to you to say, please complete these forms, including your personal information, your banking details, because guess what? They need to pay your salary. And little do you know that you've actually handed over your identity to the scammers. The job, unfortunately, is non-existent. The damage is beyond devastating. There's obviously some red flags that you might pick up. Some, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to pick up, but these are the most common ones that you might actually be able to look at and say, this doesn't look like something that I should actually be putting my details into. First of all, the offer is too good to be true. If a job promises insanely high salaries for very little experience, especially if you don't have that kind of experience, packs that actually sounds out of this world and they sound like a dream, in most cases probably is way too good to be true, and it's actually a scam. Scammers dangle these carrots because they know that the moment you start seeing the salary and you start seeing the money and the benefits, most people are willing to just share as much information as possible. The second thing to look out for is unprofessional communication. Legitimate companies actually normally check a lot of that spelling. They check everything that they've got. So they try to maintain a professional standard. If the comms is actually full of grammatic errors, there's a lot of typos, or there's, for example, a personal email address like it's a job123@gmail.com or jobs for students at gmail.com, the only advice that I can give you is please run as far away as possible. The next red flag that you should look out for is no interview process. So let's say, for example, there's no interview process. A lot of times we get frustrated by the fact that we go through so many different interviews and there's so many different questions and 10 different managers are asking the exact same question. In some cases, it helps you against scams because then you've got real people that can speak about the company and the existence of that particular company. In this instance, most of the time, the scammers, what they do is they'll send you a questionnaire or a survey and ask you a whole bunch of questions to say, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? And at the end of it, they come back with an email that says, congratulations, based on the feedback that you've given us, we would like to offer you the role. And guess what? Unfortunately, you've just shared everything with these people that you never even met. You don't even know who the hiring manager is. You get this email that says hiringmanager@gmail.com. And unfortunately, there is no hiring manager in that particular process. And then the other thing that you should look out for is upfront payments. Legitimate employers will never ask you to pay for anything upfront. If you're asked to pay for any training software or any expenses before you actually start, please note that's a scam. Like, run as far as you can. And one of the other mistakes that we've now seen is that what the scammers are also now doing is they have representative agencies, and those agencies are saying, in order for us to submit these documents to your employer, you need to pay $50, $60, all these different amounts. And then guess what? Because you think there's going to be an amazing opportunity and you want to pay for these things to be shipped for you to the employer, you pay that money and you never hear from them. So please be very careful when it comes to that process. The next thing that you should also look out for is the request for personal information way too soon before they even start the process, they even start anything, and they already start asking for banking details. Be wary of jobs that ask for sensitive information like your social security number, banking details, your personal address or your home address, with the exact details of that, copy of your ID before you even sign the contract. Now, with a bit of research that we've also done in the US, the Federal Trade Commission says over 40% of job scam victims reported being asked for their personal information early in the hiring process. That's almost 50% of the people that get scammed. And once they have that information, it's a downhill battle to reclaim your identity. Here are some of the practical things that you should do. Number one, research the company. Google becomes your best friend. So Google being your best friend is that you need to look out for the company's name along with the terms like scam or fraud. So you can put out company X, scam or fraud, and put that on Google. In most cases, it will give you the information to say, yes, that definitely does exist. Check the website. Go through the website's company and look at that careers page and check if there's any jobs that have been advertised that you've just applied to make sure that, hey, guess what? It's actually the right one. Check out the LinkedIn profiles and make sure that the information is actually correct. Check out the Glassdoor reviews to make sure that at least there's information online about that particular company. And yes, I know that sometimes scammers will use real company information, but change one or two other things. So it'll be company X at so and so, hiring team at onecompanyxname.com, and you don't see that one. So, but be very careful because they sometimes often clone real company names, but they slip up in some of the details. The next thing is verify the job posting. Only apply through the company websites. Most of the time, you try to use job boards like LinkedIn. You try to also use the company websites, but make sure that you can at least do a bit of research to understand that those companies do exist online. And then if you find the job listing does not exist anywhere else, you can always take that job listing, paste it on Google and say scam and just search. If there's a scam, you'll find that somebody has already fallen victim to that. So you at least are able to say, yes, this has been scammed before, so I know exactly what to expect. There's also tools that you can use. Like there's a tool called Triple B Scam Tracker. We also have scampals.com or a few others that are out there. But the reality is most of the best things that you can ever do is to go into the company's website and make sure that that job actually does exist on that company's website. Lastly, trust your gut. If something feels a bit off, it probably is. Listen to your instincts, because if you don't vet some of this information and people are already asking for information like a copy of your ID and all these other details before you even can check if that company exists, unfortunately, you might actually be a victim of identity theft. Okay, what do you do if you realize you've been scammed? The first thing that you should do is obviously report it. File a report with whichever local authorities that you might have to make sure that at least somebody's aware of some of those things. The information might actually help you a bit later in the process when you have to go to the bank to make sure that you can actually start claiming some of your information back or trying to claim your identity back. The next thing that you should also do is to try and secure your accounts. Make sure that you actually change your passwords, monitor your banking details to make sure that there's no unusual activity that's actually happening in your bank accounts. And make sure that you also try and place a fraud alert on your credit cards, especially if you already have those. And remember to seek support. Don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it's financial, emotional, or technical support. There's always resources out there that could always assist you. So it's important that you make sure that you reach out to whoever might be able to assist you in your local community. To sum it up, job scams are growing and they're going to get a lot worse, especially with a lot of the companies that have let go quite a lot of employees in the last 2 years. But remember to look out for a few red flags, because once you know what those red flags are, it's easier for you to at least identify what could be a scam or what is not a scam. Now, remember, if it looks too good to be true, there's a 90% chance that it's actually something that is a bit of a scam. Top of the morning, everyone. And until we see you in the next video, peace.